This is the text, page 72, number 12. I want you to do this along with me. Whenever you're asked to construct a circle, that does mean use a compass. It does not mean find something circular and trace around it. That's something completely different. One of the big issues that you run into if you're doing something circular is, I could maybe say, take this circle and trace around, but it's very difficult to find the diameter or the radius because you need to find the exact spot where across it's the longest length, if you will. We can come close and we can estimate, but constructing is pretty precise. Okay, so for this one, number 12 asks us to use your compass and protractor to make an arc with a measure of 65 and also an arc with a measure of 215. Label each arc with its measure. So that's what we're going to be doing. They're asking for arcs, so I'm going to create a circle, and having read the problem, I realized I could do both of these on one circle, so that's what I'm going to do. My method of doing this is to find a center, and I'll usually mark it so that I don't lose it. Okay, so there's my center, anchor my compass, and I drag my paper around. If I just slip, you'll want to make sure you get a good grip on your center. So I'm right there, and get yourself at least a pretty good circle there. Okay, so my circle is whatever radius that I made this. I didn't measure this one. They didn't tell me what size to make my circle, but I'm going to label my circle. I'll call this circle A. Why not? Sometimes we call it circle O or circle P. I'm going to call this circle A. So naming it by the letter of the center, and I'm going to make a 65-degree arc. To start, I'm going to just draw any radius, so I might as well connect over to here. Okay, and then a 65-degree arc. I'm going to use my protractor for this one. I am going to find first I find the middle, line up the line, and I'm going to go to 65 degrees, and I'm going to mark that spot right there, okay? And then I'm going to, if I wanted the slice, if you will, this is actually going to be called the sector of a circle, I would draw the line from here to here. I'm going to call this point C. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the line to C, but the arc is the outer part. Okay, so this is my 65-degree arc right here. Okay, so I'm going to actually label this. This is arc CB, or it could be arc BC. Either one would be correct, right? Is equal to 65 degrees. Okay, so that was part one. And then part two is we want one to be 215 degrees. So I'm going to add a third letter in a place that's going to rotate 215. To avoid being confusing and overlapping, I'm going to either use this side or I'm going to use this side and go backwards. I think I might go backwards for this one. Okay, so I'm going to line this up. And if it said 215 degrees here, I need to think, okay? Well, a whole line is 180 degrees. So really what we're saying here, I'm going to go ahead and draw in a radius, or diameter rather, all the way across. What I really need to do is add to 100, this is 180 degrees here, right? I need to add whatever I need to get to 215. 180 plus 35 makes 215. So let's go to 35 degrees on this side, okay? And this is where I have to look on the outer numbers on my compass because I'm going from this direction, 5-degree point here. I'm going to only connect the line though up to the edge of the circle here, okay? So, all right, so I've got this point here. All right, so I've got B and C, but this time I'm going in this direction, so I'm going to call this point D, and this way of labeling this, looking a little bit ahead, and this is a different arc. This was a minor arc because it was only 65 degrees. This one is a major arc. So I went this direction, B, I went all the way over to E, okay? And notice that 180 plus 35 degrees gives me a total arc measure here of 250. I would label this one arc BDE is 215 degrees. I could have also said arc EDB, right? Either one will be correct because I don't have to choose, I'm not choosing a specific direction. I will say that arc BE equals 215 degrees. That is not correct because if somebody is going to assume that that is the arc. If you do BE, this one, you have to add a third letter to be clear. So number 15 asks us to sketch two circles. It says sketch circle P, sketch a triangle inside of circle P so that the three sides of the triangle are chords of the circle. So I can already envision I'm going to put a triangle inside of a circle on one of these. Then I have to sketch another circle labeled Q and sketch a triangle on the outside of that circle so that the three sides of the triangle are tangents of the circle. That's being circumscribed around it. Okay, so I need two circles. I am wanting to do a triangle on the inside of one and on the outside of the other, so I'm going to kind of think about that when I'm planning my space. For the one that I'm going to do inside, doesn't really matter how big it is, but first I'm going to do my circle. Sorry, this might be a little bit light. My pencil is on the light side here. Hopefully you can see that. A little light, but you can see it. This is circle P. That means the center of the circle is P. And if I'm going to inscribe a triangle, didn't say anything special about it, put any three random points on my circle and then connect them. And I'm going to get an inscribed triangle. This triangle A, B, C. So this is triangle A, B, C. This is inscribed in circle P. Okay, so that's what that construction is. Now because I'm going to put a triangle outside of this circle, I'm going to think a little bit ahead and make my circle a little bit smaller. Dot to represent, this is going to be circle Q, but I'm going to make my circle a little bit smaller. I took the time to sharpen my pencil, so it's a lot easier to see now. Trying to keep my circle as good as possible there, and that is a little bit better than the last one there. So this is circle Q. And now with this one, this is a little bit easier. I usually like to use a larger ruler for this. You can still use your smaller one, but what we're trying to do is create three tangent lines where they're going to connect. And when you create a tangent line, they're going to connect. But if I make it like this, my connection might be way up here. So I'm just going to kind of think about this a little bit, and I do like to use a longer ruler for this. Oops. Tangent means it just touches at one point. Since I did ABC here, I'm going to call this D. And then I'm going to find a point from here to here. Okay, so this one, notice I'm just touching my circle right there. D, I'm going to call that E. And now all I have to do is find a tangent line anywhere here on the circle that will touch both of the other lines. And I notice I did go extend it out, so I can make it any angle I want as long as it touches both. I think I'll do this, and this will be F, okay? And if you're really picky, you could clean up your edges there. I could take a little, but at this point, what I've done is I've created three tangent lines right? And notice because they all three have different slopes, they will create a triangle, all right? So the triangle itself, if I want to get my triangle letters, it's not going to be the little tangent. So this is tangent D and F is creating triangle, let's just say GI, okay? So now what I have is triangle GHI is circumscribed around circle. Okay, so that's the second one there. All right, this should get you going on what you need to do for the homework.